Okay, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. At this time, Thanksgiving is over. We are deep into the holiday season. I hope you guys all had a chance to enjoy some turkey or whatever your holiday tradition happens to be, and got to spend some time with loved ones and had a good week. And hopefully we can keep that going. The holidays are a funny time because, the pace of things maybe starts to shift a little bit. Hopefully we get a little bit more time to spend with our families or with our loved ones. And we like to celebrate, feelings of generosity and gratitude, and it's really cool. Also during this time, occasionally, maybe some of the more ugly side of our personality can come out. And there's a lot of reasons for that. There's maybe some more stress, and maybe sometimes our family can be a source of stress, and who knows, right? So I wanted to just talk a little bit about all of that stuff, but especially gratitude, being thankful, what the difference is between the two, and how we can extend our spirit of gratitude and giving thanks beyond just the one day, the turkey day, through the rest of the year and hopefully beyond. But one little thing at a time. So I want to start with a little story. And I would love to tell this story in the first person like it happened to me, but it did not happen to me. It happened to somebody I know, but I felt like it was a really great story. So basically, there's this guy, and he's working with we'll call it like a mentor, right? And the mentor is helping him basically develop as a person. And one of the important things that they're working on is gratitude, being grateful, and noticing the things that you can be grateful for. And so there's all kinds of techniques and strategies that people like to implement for that, making gratitude lists and things like that, which are nice. But so this guy's doing, the various gratitude practicing exercises. And he's on his way to go meet with the mentor. And he gets there and he has this breakthrough. And he tells his mentor, hey, I think I've figured it out. I think I've made a huge breakthrough, made a major step in my practice of being grateful. As I was driving here, I was noticing all the little things. And every time I hit a green light, I was grateful for that green light. And normally I would have just gone through the intersection and not even thought twice about it. So I think I'm finally understanding the spirit of gratitude and being on the lookout for things to be grateful for. And his mentor kind of smiled and was like, that's awesome. But when you truly understand gratitude, you'll be grateful for the red lights too. And when I heard that story, I was like, that is awesome, because it's easy to be thankful for the things that are good. And really, it just comes down to paying attention to those things. And if we can get into the habit of paying attention to those things that are good and recognizing those things that are good, then we can develop more of a habit of just general gratitude. And that's awesome. So that's kind of step one. But then to go deeper into that, to be grateful for the red lights, opens things up in like a whole new dimension. And because it's Thanksgiving, I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of the difference between giving thanks and being grateful. And, maybe most of this is just kind of semantics, but there is a little bit of a distinction, I think. So when we're talking about being giving thanks, right? And a lot of times it's a tradition at the dinner table at Thanksgiving, everybody goes around and they say one thing that they're thankful for. I'm thankful for family. I'm thankful for this delicious meal. And that's great. And it's important to kind of acknowledge those things. So being thankful is like basically saying thank you. And in my opinion, probably the most important words that you could ever know and the most important words that you could ever say are thank you. If you say thank you to somebody and you truly mean it and they hear you say thank you, it changes things. It changes them. You feel it inside. So saying thank you and acting in a way that demonstrates being thankful is important. Gratitude, on the other hand, is something that maybe is a little bit more internal, something that you feel yourself deep down inside. When you are grateful for something, you feel it. It's sort of a state of being. So while the gratitude lists, like I've done lots of different challenges and things like that, and one of the parts of the challenge is like make a gratitude list of 5 things that you're grateful for every day. And so you sit there and like day 1, you can think of 5 things really easily. And then day 2, it's like, all right, maybe I got to think about this for a little bit. And by day 5, you're like, I've exhausted everything. I'm just, reaching for just random stuff that does, and I'm just trying to find stuff to add to the list. And there is some benefit to that because it gets you thinking, but in terms of actually being grateful, it's maybe not quite as effective. So I think it's important to know the difference and to just be aware of the difference between those two things. Giving thanks, saying thank you, and actually feeling gratitude deep down inside of you. Both are important, but good to know the difference. So, in terms of feeling grateful, what I love about it is that it really does take up all of your space. It takes up all of your head space, your emotional space, your spiritual space. If you're grateful, there's not really room for anything else. So you can't be grateful and resentful at the same time. And resentment is another funny word. And I looked it up, and basically what it comes down to, like in the Latin kind of root of the word, it means to feel again. So when you resent something, you're feeling again. You're feeling that negative feeling over and over and over again. So if you have a resentment towards something, it's like, and we've all experienced this, like you have a memory of like an argument that you got into, and the argument may have happened 2 years ago, but you think about that argument now, and all of a sudden you start to feel that same anger, you start to feel that same frustration, and whatever it was that you were feeling at the time that you had the conversation or the argument, it all comes back. But you could be in a completely different place, not even with the same person, and you're feeling the same thing that you were feeling. Now that person, who knows? They're not feeling it. It's not hurting them at all. It's all happening to you. So a resentment is pretty worthless. It doesn't do you any good to feel a resentment. And what it also does is it takes you out of where you are right now. Because if you're resentful of something, it's connecting you to something that is in a different time, in a different place, and probably a different location. And another way that kind of resentment pops up is like, I like to think about when you're in traffic or like in a parking lot, somebody cuts you off or somebody comes flying by you and you get real upset. It's not that person that you're upset at. It's not even that particular situation. If that was the very first time that had ever happened to you, you'd be like a little puzzled, maybe confused, like that was weird. I wonder why they did that. And then you'd go on about your day. But because that's probably happened to you before, and you've probably been cut off a few times, the resentment is you're actually refeeling the compilation, right? The compounding effect of all of those other times that you've been cut off. And now you're taking all of that energy, that feeling inside of you, that negative sensation, and you're channeling it and directing it towards this one person or thing or event. So again, the resentment is taking you out of yourself, and it's taking you into these other places, locations, times, and involving other people that may not even be around. So resentment takes you away. Now, if you think about gratitude, if you're grateful for something, it is bringing you into yourself. You're feeling what you're feeling in that moment, a positive feeling, and you're directing it towards, who knows? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's, a situation, could be anything. But it brings you into the moment. It brings you into where you are. So even though like you have the positive and the negative feeling and sensation in your body of resentment versus gratitude, there's also the fact that when you feel gratitude, you're brought into the moment. And when you feel resentment, you're brought out of the moment, even though the resentment can happen at a very specific time. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, make some comments, hit me up, and I would love to converse further on that. But we're going to keep things pushing. I know you guys probably had like a long, maybe a couple days off, maybe some travel. So just want to kind of get a little morsel for you this week. Just a couple little nuggets. So basically the action item for this week is going to be to practice gratitude, right? To do some stuff that we can really bring more gratitude into our lives because it feels good to be grateful. It makes you a better person when you're grateful. When you express your gratitude and you verbally give thanks for things, it makes other people around you feel better. When they feel better, it makes other people around them feel better. So then basically we change the world and everything's great, right? That's what we're going to do. 1 week. That's all we need. We're going to keep it real simple. So the gratitude list is cool. I think that at some point it becomes less effective. So we want to try and do something that's much more effective. So you're going to make a gratitude list of one item, just one thing. And you don't even have to write it down. It helps to write it down, but every day this week, I want you to think of something, to notice something that you are grateful for. And it doesn't even have to be, let me reword this. Your job this week is to be grateful for one thing. So rather than, what am I grateful for? Look around. See what's going on around you. See what's important. And pay attention. And when you notice something that maybe catches your eye a little bit, catches your thought, takes up a little space in your head, you're going to practice gratitude for that thing. And you're going to pay attention to that thing. And focus on that thing. All of the positivity that surrounds that thing. All of the potential good things that maybe can connect to that thing or come from that thing. And sit there and focus and pay attention to that thing until you feel gratitude for it. So the idea this week is to feel grateful, is to find something and be grateful for it. And honestly, yeah, the green lights, it might be a little bit easier, but when it's the red lights, that sense of gratitude and that feeling goes much, much deeper, has a much more powerful effect. So when I say red light, obviously there are tragic, terrible, horrible things that maybe we're dealing with in life right now. Don't go right to that. Something a little bit more neutral, right? The equivalent of a red light. So that's basically it. Find something, focus on it, pay attention, and develop a sense of gratitude for that thing. When you feel it, stay there for a little bit. Enjoy it. And the next day, move on to something else. Try that, do that every day for a week. Pick one thing and find some gratitude for that thing. Have a great week. We're deep in the holidays. It's going to be a really awesome wrap up to 2019. I'm so excited to spend it up here in Washington, to spend it here with you guys. So let's stay in touch. Have a great week. I love you. I'll see you soon.